from Nakaseke district.
Thank you very much. So it's that point where we vote for this motion. What do you say, members of this House? The ayes have it. The motion has been passed. It's the very first time that a second has become a minute in this House. But I think in light of all the procedure, today we have been able to speak and we have been able to use the platform as we had promised. So thank you very much, all the honorable members that have stayed till the end. We have been making different resolutions through our different arguments. And at this point, the clerk is going to review them. Thereafter, we shall have a member who has also financed this particular engagement from Action Aid to speak to us. Thereafter, we shall adjourn the House. Thank you very much.
Honorable members of Parliament, good afternoon. My name is Vanessa Lynette Nampija, and I come from Masaka district. I'm the clerk of this honorable House. So we thank all the speakers that have been able to come up to speak to us about the different motions that we have had. Thank you for being very audible. Thank you for keeping time, though it was a bit hard, but I did my best to keep you time cautious. So the first motion that you have had was a motion calling on government to prioritize the improvement of infrastructure to enhance economic development in the central region. So we heard from different speakers. So these are the different resolutions that I've come up with that I see as valid. The first one was we should invest in infrastructure, for example, the railway systems, water transport, and the different things. Then the second point was we should invest in the health infrastructure. If we do not invest in the health infrastructure, then how will the people be treated? How then will they be able to transport their commodities, yet the hospitals are actually not in good status? Then the third one was we should invest in the energy infrastructure. In the energy infrastructure, that's where we have the electricity. And in the electricity, that's where Honorable Buronja came up with the 5 elements of agriculture that involve the care, the seed, and all the other things. So in regards to that, that was the first motion that we had, and that's what I was able to come up with. Then the second motion that we have had, we had a motion urging government to conduct comprehensive training and public awareness campaigns for the successful implementation of the electronic physical receipting and invoicing systems. Different speakers as well have come up, including Honorable Basiga, Honorable Jotham, and a debate from still different speakers. So the resolutions that I came up with are that there should be that there should be training. No, there should be training of the farmers. Yeah, and in regards to that, if farmers are trained, then this will help to create awareness amongst them. And then, if risk doesn't give a level of privacy, yes, this is true. If risk doesn't give a level of privacy, because you get to declare your taxes, what you're getting, and this will actually invade on someone's rights as a person. And then there were different points that were brought up and an argument about the politicians. But yeah, there should be also transparency in regards to this motion, that there should be transparency between the traders, between their clients, between the people, and this will actually come up to help them speak out and not to withstand what they earn and also the profits that they make. Then the third, yeah. Just a minute. Yeah. Then still under IFRIS, the topic, the motion that we have had is that IFRIS helps to find out your profit, that each and everything is put into accountability, that me, Nampija, Vanessa, Lynette, I get this amount of money, and the profit that you are getting is actually in regards to this. Then the other point is that you should be a registered VAT holder. That when you are a registered VAT holder, that's when IFRIS will come up to actually help you in to benefit. So the nations were shut down. Yeah, in regards to IFRIS still, we see that all the nations are shut down, including Mukono, including Masaka, including Wakiso. So this affected the nation worldwide. It didn't only affect Masaka, where I come from, but all traders actually came up and closed the shops in regards to the unfairness that was being brought up. So how can the government address this? They have to get back to the table and know what went wrong. They can't only create awareness among the people, but they should actually go on the round table and know that what exactly happened, what are we supposed to address, where is the loophole, and how are we supposed to work upon it. And then the people are not getting the results of their taxes. The reason why these shops were closed is not because of the taxes, but then they're constantly give the taxes, but then they're not getting the results of the taxes. All they see is new MPs getting new vehicles, new MPs going abroad, new MPs going for vacations, yet they're constantly giving in taxes, and the roads are not made, the hospitals are not worked upon, the students are not going to school, and even the government schools, they're actually paying money to cater for the students. And then we should provide, solve the problems from the tree. That was the motion. Then the other motion that we have is motion urging government to take immediate action to address the escalating scandals in Uganda and to ensure the effective prosecution of those implicated, to restore transparency and accountability to its citizens. So we thank the speakers that came up in regards to this motion and addressed it. So in summary of what I was able to write down is that reports should be made regularly. That these MPs, these members who are actually involved in corruption, they should be reported. And not only should they be reported, but they should be punished. So another point that I've had, that they should expose them on media. They should expose them on media so that they actually stop these other young people who are coming in to engage in corruption. And then there should be transparency among the members. That if you see someone involving in corruption, you should not be scared to talk. That's why Natalie came in to bring in the point of protecting the whistleblowers. These whistleblowers need to be protected. If they are not protected, someone will know that, you see, this whistleblower actually reported this MP, so they will come in and actually punish the whistleblowers and leave the corrupt leaders. So organizations should come in to protect these whistleblowers, because they actually help to bring and expose these members that involve in corruption. And then institutions should be put in place like the IGG, then introduce a culture of integrity. You see, integrity is not something you can learn. Integrity is something you learn from home. So it should actually be there. Then protect the whistleblowers, I've mentioned that. Then change in government. And also authenticity of the people. That was benchmarking with other countries. The point of benchmarking with other countries was valid, in my opinion, because we should actually see how other countries come in to fight corruption, and not only to depend on the advisors of the parliament. So this will actually help us to pick a leaf on how other countries do that. Then the other motion that we have had is a motion urging NEMA to ensure a fair and transparent eviction process for the communities affected by the recent wetland conservation development in Uganda. That's the second last that we have had. So among the resolutions that I have been able to get is that NEMA evictions. So we all know what NEMA evictions are and whatever has been happening. So the first one is there should be transparency. Transparency was explained by a honorable member in regards to the fact that if they are removing and evicting people, they shouldn't actually leave some like Starbucks. All of them should go, which is actually fair. They shouldn't leave particular people in the wetlands and actually remove the one that is not bringing enough money to the table. And then the Minister of Disaster should come into place. This is very true, that if the minister comes in place, you know, when you tell someone maybe you've done this, they'll ask you, who are you? Like, you are telling me as who? But if you are a big person, someone can actually come in and respect you and then move industries to other places. This was said by an honorable member, and this is actually true. That in Namamve, you see there are very many industries, yes, but then these industries should actually be moved to other places than wetlands, and this will actually help to conserve the environment. The NEMA should uphold the law, yes. NEMA should uphold the law, and this will actually help in environment conservation. We deal with the problem. We should deal with the problem itself, that what is the problem. We should not actually look at the side effects. We should zero down to see what is the problem, what is leading to these evictions, corruption. These people actually evict people and come in and set very big industries. They actually evict schools and actually come and set very big things that actually we don't benefit from. So in regards to that, government should put a task force that will look and see how these organizations work and see all they're doing. You have been a very nice audience. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for letting us listen to your views, and thank you for your time. I wish you a nice day.
Yes, without further ado, I've been asked to invite, and I take it as a singular honor to invite one of the funders of this event from Action Aid to also share with us and maybe give us comments on how we have performed, whether what we are saying really will find its way to the right people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and your amazing two clerks that have enabled the House to have a smooth and productive journey up to this moment. My name is David Nyaribi. I work with ActionAid International Uganda as a leadership and governance specialist, so this is really the right space for me. And I am happy to be here in three capacities: working with a global platform which supports young people and gives space to young people to thrive and innovate their ideas, but also Gold, which supports social movements and activists to change their communities. So while you have your lunch, those that are running social movements or are key activists in their spaces, I will be happy to be able to have a chat and also take your names down. But I also support the Activista Network, which is in the areas where ActionAid works. And this is a network of young people that supports them to be able to change the society. This event is not convened by just one partner or just one organization. It is a collaboration of several organizations. But Faraja being our chief convener, let's give them a round of applause. That is led by Shalom, who is the leader of this particular project, supported by Edna, and all the other people that you see here. Matthias, of course, logistics, Joshua on making sure that we have the live stream, Sydney on photography and video, Stephen as well. I don't know who I have forgotten, but those are the ones that I love most. But Richard here, right here, supporting our people that are able differently. And it's one of the areas that Faraja has scored very highly, that we can be able to be as inclusive as you can see. But this event and this convening and Parliament has also been supported by the European Union, GIZ, Vijanako. I see my brother Defender Tekako just behind there. You could put up your hand. During lunch, please also speak to Defender and know what Vijanako does. They are doing a lot of amazing work. And it is actually situated here in Mukono as the headquarters, but also operating in Pakwach and Bali. Of course, Mukono Municipal Council, I saw the LC5 representative here, plus any other of you that supports processes here. And UAF, which was able to support in Bali, plus other partners that will be very specific in the regions where this parliament is going. This is the fifth location that we are having the parliament. We started in Pakwach, successfully moved to Gulu. We're happily in Mbale, moved to Jinja, and now we are here. We are almost on our way to Mbarara, and we shall conclude in Fort Portal before we climax from the chambers of parliament in Kampala. So the parliament, just like Shalom said in the beginning, is in the regions but moves to the national, and then will be amplified at the region, which we call the Vijana Assembly, and then online for the global stage. So please look forward to these spaces. Unfortunately, not all of you can get there, but your voices will be heard, especially with the people that will represent you, including the speaker and some of the clerks. ActionAid and the other partners front servant leadership. So I am extremely happy that the motions that have come through speak to this, and the way you have been discussing issues in a robust manner gives us happiness and hope that the country is having the right people at the moment, but still will also have the right people as leaders in the different spheres of influence. The motions that have been discussed are very, initially, very specific to the central region, but also speak to some of the aspects that happen in other parts of the country. So the reason for the regional youth parliament is to pick the specific issues of that particular region, but also be able to link them to the national issues so that we craft solutions that are comprehensive enough. So when you talk about infrastructure, and I am happy that we are in the central, you people who are from the central are privileged to host all of us, especially in terms of having the capital of the country. And that by default puts the amenities of life, the key amenities of life in the central. When you talk about the National Referral Hospital, when you talk about the key universities that educate all of us, you know, the spaces of entertainment and hospitality, the key ones mainly are here. So it means that the central gets what I would call positive pressure. If we have the right infrastructure, then the central would really be able to host us in a good way. So we need better roads, better hospitals, schools should be funded, and security and peace should also be able to thrive. So infrastructure is very key. I'm happy that that motion has come through strongly. I was listening in to your deliberations, and we hope that this can go to the next level. When you talk about IFRIS, you're talking about us leveraging on technology, but also the technology as it comes, there are early adopters, there are those that are late adopters, so we should be able to support everybody to come on board. So the aspect of awareness, education, training, and retraining is very, very important, and I'm happy that it came out as well. Number 3, that touches my heart very strongly. I am an ambassador as well as a champion on integrity. We stand for zero tolerance to corruption as an institution, as ActionAid, but also our partners, I'm very sure, Vijana Corps and the others. And we know that corruption is like the mother or the foundation of some of our challenges. So when I see young people like yourselves and emerging leaders passionately talking about this cancer, if I put it in quotes, then certainly we will have a better country and a better region and a better continent. It goes without saying, the country is vibrating with the challenge of corruption, and we need integrity as soon as yesterday. So thank you very much for speaking about corruption, to challenge it, to combat it, but also to sow the seed of integrity within the society. Then when it comes to wetlands and conservation of the same, I am happy that you're able to talk about a balance. We need sustainable development that will ensure that we are here today, but also we don't jeopardize the existence of future generations. Yes, these spaces can be conserved, but also can be utilized in a sustainable manner. And I am happy that you have talked about fairness, equity. If we observe these principles, then certainly we'll be able to have a better country. Mahatma Gandhi said this was a gentleman that led India to independence, but also is also one of the fathers of social movement building, especially with the Satyagraha, which was the salt march. When the British were occupying India, he led the the Indian natives to march to the sea and make their very first salt of their own. And in so doing, we're able to mobilize and organize and eventually push out the British. He said that be the change that you want to see in the world. So as we advocate, as we've been positively pointing fingers, government should do this, civil society should do this, certain leaders should do certain things. It begins with us as well. We need to be the change that we want to see in the world. It means that we have a contribution to make. I'll conclude with this. We need to speak more about what we want in terms of solutions. I think we have done a proper diagnosis of our challenges. Even young people out there know the challenges of the country, they know the challenges of society, but we don't talk as much about the solutions. The solutions are there, but we lament so much on the challenges and we don't amplify the solutions. We need to talk exactly about what we want to see. I always encourage positive talking and positive thinking. So an example is, if you don't want to come late, then I think you want to come early. So talk a little bit more about coming early, and then that will speak to your subconscious, and then you will eventually be early. If you don't want to be poor, don't lament about poverty. Begin to talk about wealth and how to create wealth and how to be rich. Then most likely your subconscious, your actions, your feelings will begin to move you towards that. It doesn't mean that you need to live in denial. Acknowledge your challenges, acknowledge your reality, but don't dwell on it so much. Instead, begin to imagine and dwell on where you want to go. You deliberated well. Of course, procedural issues came through, and learning never stops. You have even seen in the real, this is like a mock, it's a training ground for the parliamentarians, but you've seen even in real parliament in Kampala and even in the British Parliament and others, where people are off track a bit. So learning never stops. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, and your clerks for guiding the House, and the members that came through to guide the House on how we should be able to move. Let the conversations not stop here. The 4 or 5 hours are not enough. Continue online, continue in the spaces that you are in, and engage. I encourage you to be bold and courageous. ActionAid, we encourage young people to speak to power with respect. We are very political but non-partisan. So thank you very much. I want to thank the Speaker and the clerks again. I want to thank you, the honorable members, and invite you to also follow the live streams as we go to Mbarara and Fort Portal, and then finally the National Youth Parliament. Thank you very much, for God and my country.
Thank you very much. So before I adjourn the House, I just want to find out if there is any other important communication that needs to be made. All right. So we have come to the closure of our sitting, and I want to thank all of you, my dear honorable members, for being here till the end. Oh yes. I want to thank you that you've been able to deliberate and speak your mind, but also that we've been able to respectfully share our views. And in later occasions, we shall be invited, even as a Central Region Youth Parliament, to share and open up different spaces and speak more and more. So when that time comes, please ensure that you come through. We are going to have a closing prayer from someone who has not spoken today. Yes. Let us all rise.
Faraja Africa Foundation and her partners organized the East African Youth Parliament in 2018 following the establishment of the East African Community, which comprises of 7 member states, that is Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, and the recently added Democratic Republic of Congo.
Well, my name is Abdullahi Lugome. I'm first speaker of East African Youth Legislative Assembly.